like we can start. Welcome, everyone, to the May 25th meeting of the City of Clovis Planning Commission. Members of the public are encouraged to participate in this meeting by accessing the webcast on City's website, providing written comment at the same website, participating by phone, or coming to the Planning Commission meeting in person. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Can you please join me in the flag salute being led by Commissioner Hatcher? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Commission Secretary, can you please call the roll?
Pro Tem Antuna.
Here.
Commissioner Bedstead, absent. Commissioner Hatcher.
Here.
Commissioner Hebert.
Here.
Commissioner Hinkle, absent.
We're going to forego the Planning Commission reorganization to give time for Commissioner Bedstead to arrive. If we can move for a motion to approve the minutes of April 20th, 2023 for the Planning Commission meeting.
I move to approve the motion.
I'll second.
If you can call for the confirmation, please.
Yes, there was a motion to approve the minutes by Commissioner Hatcher, second by Commissioner Hebert. Pro Tem Antuna.
Yes.
Commissioner Bedstead, absent. Commissioner Hatcher.
Yes.
Commissioner Hebert.
Yes.
Commissioner Hinkle, absent.
Do we have any Commission Secretary comments?
Thank you, Chair Pro Tem. We'd just like to publicly announce and introduce Joseph Hebert as our new Planning Commissioner, and welcome him to the Commission in his first official meeting, actually his first meeting of any kind, right, Joe? And maybe you'd just like to introduce yourself and...
Sure. Joe Hebert. I'm I guess a 14-year resident of Clovis, and actually I think it was just last week was my 14th year in my house, so I was looking at the paperwork. I have 4 daughters, married, and I currently am employed with the City of Madera as the Director of Parks and Community Services. Just very happy to be here, and just really looking forward to being part of this commission.
Thank you. Do we have anything for comments from the Commission members? Commissioner Hebert, I just want to personally welcome you and look forward to working with you. Now we will be taking business from the floor. This is an opportunity for the members of the public to address the Planning Commission for any matter within the Planning Commission jurisdiction that is not listed on the agenda. If you would like to speak, please step up to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and please limit your comment to 5 minutes. Seeing none in chamber, do we have anything online?
No comments online.
Very well. We will close the business from the floor and open the public hearing. Item 1, consider approval for Resolution Ordinance Amendment OA 2023-001, a request to amend sections Title 9 of the Clovis Municipal Code, Development Code, as a semi-annual cleanup to address changes, deletions, and context errors as a result of the 2014 Development Code update. Additionally, the semi-annual cleanup will bring the Development Code into compliance with the state law related to large child and/or adult daycare homes, allowance procedures to vehicle charge stations, and development standards for accessory dwelling units. City of Clovis applicant, Senior Planner George Gonzalez, staff member presenting.
Thank you, Chair Pro Tem, and good evening, commissioners. The development code was adopted in August of 2014 in conjunction with the general plan update. The development code included a new format and amendments to the text. And during the adoption period, staff informed the council that periodic updates would be necessary as a result of the conversion from the old code to the new format. And the periodic updates would address two primary things, and one being addressing anticipated corrections throughout the code, and also allow modifications to accommodate new land use development requirements. Subsequent to that, then staff did bring back to the Planning Commission and Council amendments to the code back starting in 2015, 17, 18, 19, and 2020. And here I'm going to just go through or just highlight some of the code changes. I'm not going through every single change that is being proposed in tonight's staff report and text modifications, unless the commission would like me to. Please feel free to stop me along the way as I explain some of the highlighted items. And if I don't answer some of your questions, please, I'm happy to answer those at the end as well. Okay. So some of the proposed modifications to this year's code update include Section 910.0110, which would allow or add a low-density residential as an allowed density range within the R1 PRD zone district. Section 910.020, it would revise text regarding the large family daycare homes to comply with Senate Bill 234. Section 912.020, it would add drive-through uses in the CP zone district subject to the approval of a conditional use permit. In that same code section as well, the proposal is to add text to address alcohol sales in conjunction with hotels and motel uses. Section 914.020, it would add daycare centers and nursery schools in the MP, which is industrial parks, and RT, which is research and technology zone districts, subject to the approval of a conditional use permit. And under this same code section, it would add firearm retail sales in the commercial light manufacturing zone district as a permitted use by right. And this particular one, it was vetted through our local police department, and they approved of the addition. With the same code section also, we are proposing to add the daycare centers in the M1 and M2 zone district, which are both industrial uses zone districts, subject to a conditional use permit approval. Section 924.060, it would add vinyl fencing subject to the review and approval of the director. Periodically, we try to update, for example, this section when it comes to fencing, as staff gets inquiries in the office about a particular fence type. Not too long ago, we brought a code modification to the commission to add corrugated metal as allowed fencing, which was approved, and it's in the code now. So now we're attempting to memorialize vinyl fencing also in there. And within that same code section, also add text regarding electrified security fencing requirements. And this is an important code update with this latest code modifications. We worked alongside with our city attorney's office to come up with the language, and also with a electric security fencing company, which is Amarok, and a representative here this evening, Keith, and that will be happy to answer any technical questions that the commission may have regarding electrified security fencing. And this allowance will be only allowed in industrial zone districts. Additional modifications are to Section 932.040. It would revise text changes to vehicle charging stations to comply with Assembly Bill 1236. Section 934.60, it would allow flagpole, the height of a flagpole to match the maximum height allowance under that underlying zone district, and without planning commission consideration and approval. As it currently stands, the code indicates that someone can propose a flagpole, but the maximum height is 24 feet. They can go above that, but they would need to go before the planning commission with a sign review application, at which point then it would be at the discretion to the commission to approve or deny the request. This change will basically allow the height of the flagpole to be as high as the district would allow. For example, a standard R1 zone district, it would be 35 feet. They would still need to comply with building code requirements, wind, engineering calculation requirements that they will need to submit to our building department as well. Section 934.130, it would add text to allow signage on street frontages for businesses with public interests associated with office and industrial uses. Section 940.020, it would modify text and add text regarding accessory dwelling units to comply with State Bill 897. Section 950.070, it would add language providing timelines for refunds. Section 958.040, it would authorize cottage home operations as allowed use and with home occupations. Section 968.030, it would add language to exclude PDPs projects from the use of minor deviations for lot coverage increases. And this one here, for a standard R1, a tentative tract map with the underlying zoning of an R1, the code allows them to have a lot coverage maximum of 40%. Usually when a project comes in with a planned development permit along with it for the commission's consideration, some of those projects are requesting deviation from lot coverage. So they're, instead of 40% lot coverage, for example, some of them may come in at 50, 55% lot coverage, so higher already than what our code allows. And what we've seen on a number of occasions is after the project has been approved, for example, let's say with 55% lot coverage, the developer will come to planning and request a minor deviation to receive an additional 4%. So it will bring them up almost to 60% lot coverage. So this would prevent that. And moving forward, whatever lot coverage the commission sees, that's what the development will need to comply with.
Oh, that's good.
Section 972.030, it will modify the specific plan requirements for areas designated as urban centers. And again, I just wanted to touch on some highlighted ones. I didn't go through all of them, but I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. And that concludes my presentation, and I do recommend, staff recommends that the commission this evening approve the resolution recommending that the City Council approved Ordinance Amendment 2023-001, amending the Clovis Development Code per attachments 2 and 3 in the staff reports, and finding that the project is not subject to further environmental review pursuant to CEQA Guidelines Section 15162. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you very much, George. Are there any questions from staff? Are any questions for staff from the commission? Seeing none, is there anyone in chamber that would like to speak in support of the item? Do we have anyone online?
No comments online.
Is there anyone in chamber that would like to speak against this item? Do we have any online?
No comments online.
Then we will bring it back to the commission for discussion and a motion.
Seeing none, I'll make a motion to approve Ordinance Amendment OA 2023-001 with the conditions noted.
I'll second.
Please call for the vote.
Okay, we have a motion to adopt Ordinance Amendment OA 2023-001 with no subsequent environmental review required. Chair Pro Tem?
Yes.
Commissioner Bedstead?
As I didn't get to hear the public hearing, I'm going to abstain.
Commissioner Hatcher?
Yes.
Commissioner Hebert?
Yes.
Commissioner Hinkle absent.
Okay, moving on to item number 2, consider approval resolution general plan consistency finding for the proposed 2023-24 community investment program. City Engineer Thad Avery presenting.
Good evening, Commission. Tonight I'm presenting to you the proposed 2023-24 Community Investment Program budget inclusive of the 5-year Community Investment Program. Section 65401 of the Government Code calls for the Planning Commission's review and consideration of the annual capital improvement program. The City of Clovis refers to the capital improvement program as a community investment program. The purpose of this provision is to have the Planning Commission review the community investment program and make a specific finding that it is in conformance with the general plan and relevant specific plans. The City of Clovis can then proceed with adoption of the budget. Staff is recommending the adoption of resolution finding the proposed 2023-24 community investment program is consistent with the general plan and relevant specific plans of the City of Clovis. The proposed community investment program budget is a 62-page document attached to the report submitted to the Planning Commission. The projects that are proposed in the program have been identified in consultation with and support from the various city department heads, their representatives, and other staff. This collaborative process has assisted in forming a program that provides a selection of specific projects that are necessary for public service, utility, and/or safety purposes and are consistent with city goals. Shown on this slide is a brief overview of the Community Investment Program. The 2023-24 CIP budget is a total of $49,006,000. On the chart, you can see how the capital projects are distributed among the program areas of government facilities, sewer, parks, streets, water, community sanitation, and community development. Various project components consist of design, right-of-way, and acquisition, and/or construction. In 2023-24, the budget is comprised of 54 projects. Majority of the funding for the streets projects is from federal and state grants. In 23-24, the budget has around $11.9 million in revenue coming from federal grants and regional Measure C funding for specific projects. Gas sales tax provides approximately $4 million in funding, and Measure C pass-through funding is estimated at about $4.2 million. Just to get a little overview of how we see construction going in this coming year. We've seen a shortage of some supplies is still being experienced, and it's causing some of the construction costs to continue to rise, but we also noticed that that is starting to level out and come back to a normal pace. The projects in this year's budget are mostly comprised of street projects, so we don't have any of those wow factors this year. But we have an assortment of street projects, both in design and construction phases of work, including an annual cave and slurry seal that provides preventative maintenance for over 10 miles of local streets. We have our second phase of Shaw widening project coming this coming year that's between Fowler and Leonard. And we have signalization of intersections for Peach and Shepherd and Nees and Armstrong. We also have some well site development projects. An update of some noteworthy projects from this past year include the Nees Avenue widening. On the upper left is a picture of the underground work going on Nees Avenue between Clovis and Minnewawa. That project is actually just opening up tonight or tomorrow morning, so you'll be able to drive through there now. hopefully tonight. Fire Station 2, temporary building for fire training facility is in the top right. That project is done with construction and then is now housing the crew for Fire Station 2 while they are demoing and rebuilding a new Fire Station 2, which is on the bottom left, where that building is now completely gone and they're starting to build a new one. We also had some alley projects around the Sierra Vista School neighborhood. We had about 5 or 6 alleys that we reconstructed in that neighborhood, and construction is complete on those. That concludes my presentation. I'm available for questions.
Do we have any questions for staff from the commission?
I actually do just have one question. You mentioned some of the supply chain and the impacts to getting some of the materials. Just curious, and it crossed my radar here recently, I guess the valves for, large water mains and things have some really long lead times. And I'm curious, as we look ahead to build out of different areas in the city, are we in the pipeline for procurement of some of those, or is that not a challenge or has not been a challenge for the city of Clovis?
That has been a challenge on some projects. It all depends on the project. Our capital projects that we have those pipelines or things needed for our water mains have already been procured, but I know development is having issues with getting some things, but those lead times are shrinking a bit on that. But there's still issues.
Okay, thank you.
Questions? Do we have anyone in the chamber wanting to speak in support of this item? Do we have anyone online?
No online comments.
Do we have anyone in the chamber wanting to speak against this project? Do you have anyone online?
No online comments.
Okay, then we will bring it back to the commission for discussion and a motion. Any discussion? Okay, ready for a motion?
I'll make the motion. Motion to, make sure I got it right here. Motion to approve the general plan consistency finding for the proposed 2023-2024 CIP or Community Investment Program.
I'll second.
Call, votes.
Okay, we have a motion to adopt the finding that the City of Clovis's proposed 2023-2024 Community Investment Program is in conformance with the general plan and relevant specific plans of the City of Clovis. Chair Pro Tem Antuna?
Yes.
Commissioner Bedstead?
Yes.
Commissioner Hatcher?
Yes.
Commissioner Hebert?
Yes.
Commissioner Hinkle absent.
Okay, being done with the public hearing, we're going to bring back the reorganization of the Planning Commission. So at this time, the commission will open for nomination and vote for the new Planning Commission chair.
I nominate Commissioner Antuna to be the chair.
I'll second.
Call for the vote, please.
Okay, we have a motion to approve Chair Pro Tem Antuna as chair. Chair Pro Tem Antuna?
Yes.
Commissioner Bedstead?
Yes.
Commissioner Hatcher?
Yes.
Commissioner Hebert?
Yes.
Commissioner Hinkle absent.
At this time, we'll also call for a motion for the Chair Pro Tem. So I'd like to nominate Commissioner Bedstead.
I'll second.
Call for the vote, please.
I'm sorry, I missed the motion. Antuna? And then Hatcher is second. Okay. We have a motion to approve Commissioner Bedstead as Chair Pro Tem. Okay, we have Commissioner Bedstead?
Yes.
Commissioner Hatcher?
Yes.
Commissioner Hebert?
Yes.
Commissioner Hinkle absent, and Chair Antuna.
Yes. We call for any new business?
None this evening?
Okay, very good. Then I'd like to adjourn this meeting at 6:26 until the next Planning Commission meeting scheduled for June 22nd of 2023. All right, we're good.
Commission, I just wanted to make an announcement that, NEAS is officially open to traffic.
All right, perfect.
Congratulations on your...
Yes, congratulations, Ed.
Thank you very much.